So I want to talk a little bit today about how your least expectation, the least of your standards, the lowest standard that you have tends to be the outcome of your life. And the reason for this, simplistically, is because we tend to settle for what we are okay with. We tend to settle for whatever is the most comfortable. I saw this great video today. It was explaining how you shouldn't try your best. You should do everything that is required for you to become great. See, the reason that you shouldn't just try your best is because trying your best is aligned with your current complacency. It's aligned with your current reality. To really step outside of your comfort zone and become a new person, for one, you need to keep that to yourself. You shouldn't tell people about your goals, because whenever you tell other people your goals, their energy is going to leech onto you, and it's going to positively affect you or negatively affect you. The only time you should really talk to people in general is whenever you have a problem you want to talk about. Because see, talking about problems is good. It's healthy because you're dispersing that energy. But whenever you talk about goals, you're doing the same thing. You're dispersing that energy, the energetic charge that you have within you to achieve that thing. So you need to keep it to yourself for those two reasons. And see, to get back to the main point, the lowest standard of your belief is what you end up attaining. Now, the reason for this is because energetically, you believe most confidently in the lowest standard outcome. And if you believe, 90% of you believes that this is most likely to happen, then that's exactly what's going to happen, because you're walking on the path. You're walking in that line of belief. You're unconsciously directing your thoughts, your emotions, your energy in that direction, because the lowest standard that you have for yourself is what you think subconsciously is the most likely to happen. So what you need to do is raise your expectations for yourself. If you can raise the expectations that you have for yourself, then your standards will also raise. This has been the story of my life. When I graduated college, I knew it was the lowest standard of belief for me to get a sales job straight out of college, a high level, high paying sales job. Because I had been working many sales jobs, and they were, I was like selling popcorn, I was selling little tiny products. I was selling knives, I was doing all these little tiny sales jobs, and I was one of very few people that had that much experience in sales coming straight out of college. So that was my lowest expectation. That was my lowest standard of belief, was that I'm going to get a sales job right out of college, like a big boy sales job, because that was my lowest standard of belief. I 100% knew that I was going to get a sales job. Raise your expectations. And I see this happening all the time. There's so many people that they don't have a lot of super, out of the ordinary or over the top expectations for themselves. So they tend to do what is most obvious. But that's not what you want to do. You don't want to do what is most obvious for you to do, right? Like, why would you want to do the lowest standard of your expectations? The lowest standard of your expectations is comfortability. You don't want to be comfortable. You want to step outside of your comfort zone and live a great life, a life where you are proud of yourself, where you have done things that have been hard. That is what makes a life quality. That's what makes a life worthwhile. And the only way that you can do that is to put in the effort, is to put in the grind. Do things that force you to step outside of your comfort zone. Do things that are out of the ordinary for you. If you only stick in your box throughout your entire life, how can you do that? How can you stay within your comfort zone throughout your entire life? It's like everything was already planned for you before you were born. And you're just going to stick to that? Just keep doing that? How could anyone do that? How could anyone be okay with doing that? Raise your standards for yourself. Raise the expectations that you have for yourself. The universe is full of abundance. There is not a limited amount of abundance for everyone here on this planet. There is an infinite amount of abundance. And see, the problem is that people are born into lives where they aren't served the best hand, and they continue to believe in that hand. They continue to believe in whatever it is that was given to them. And to add on to that, that's where their faith goes. Their faith goes to the life that was handed down to them. But the point in your life, you need to redirect your faith into things that are higher, outside of your life. Faith is everything. You could be putting faith into a life of challenges, into a life of being miserable. So you're like, oh, like I know my life is just gonna suck, right? Or like, oh yeah, I know my life is gonna be great. I'm gonna do so many great things. I'm gonna shoot to the moon. Like there's no stopping me. You set these boundaries for yourself. There's no limit. There's no stopping you in what you are capable of. Every single thing that you can possibly imagine is possible. And whenever it comes to making the impossible possible, the best thing that I can say for you to do is to have simple faith and realize that the divine creative spirit is flowing through you. You don't need to stress. You don't need to worry. You don't need to worry about when it's going to come, because the simple worrying about when it's going to come just reaffirms your lacking of it. And if you are affirmed the lacking of it, then you are putting into your identity that it is in lack. And you're going to continuously live in that state of lack. You need to think outside of your walls of comfort. You can't stay within the simple boundaries that you've created for yourself, that you've decided and chosen to believe in for the rest of your life. The only way to become great is to step outside of your comfort zone. Do what makes you feel uncomfortable. You're going to fail at first. Of course you are. Everyone does. But that is the point. Failure is what makes people great. Learning from those challenges and choosing to push through them is what shows the strong from the weak. If you get pushed over by one challenge and you fall back into your old reality, and that's on you. It's not because the world gave you a bad hand. It's on you. It is entirely on you. To add on top of all that, simple faith, trust. Trust that what you want to happen is going to happen. That combined with the physical action, inspired action that takes you to your goal. And sometimes you don't have to be fully inspired. Sometimes you just need to do what you know you need to do. Even if you're not inspired to do it, even if you're feeling down that day, even if it doesn't seem like it's gonna benefit you, you need to do what you need to do to step outside of your comfort zone. You can't wait for anything to come to you. You need to internally approach it first. And then everything's gonna unravel from there. And the biggest thing, man, that I learned throughout all this process is the philosophy of letting go and actually forgetting, almost in a sense, forgetting about the goal and saying, you know what, no matter what, whatever happens, no matter, whatever happens, and it's okay. And have simple faith, because whenever I've done that in my life, the greatest things have come to me. Because I'll be putting in so much effort until I get to a breaking point. Nothing is happening. Nothing's going right for me. My sales aren't up. My sales are down. I'm doing terrible, but I'm trying so hard, and I'm at that fucking breaking point. But from the hardest challenges, you will see your greatest potential. Because at my breaking point, whenever I got to the point where I was just sitting there like, I'm gonna quit my job if I can't get my sales up. If I can't do better, I am leaving and I'm gonna find a new job. I completely let go of whatever was gonna happen. I said, you know what? It's fine. Whatever happens, happens. And whenever that clicked, whenever I said whatever happens, happens, suddenly my subconscious knew every single thing that I wanted, and I just stopped caring. But because my subconscious knew what I wanted, it acted it out for me. It did every single thing that I wanted it to. And I think the key there with all of a sudden excelling in my sales career, the reason that I was able to excel is because I didn't have a desperate energy around me. I wasn't desperate anymore. I knew that what was to come was to come, and that is okay. I simply knew that, and I just had trust in whatever happened. And then suddenly, I was in the flow state. I was completely in the flow, and I had turned around my sales career. I started doing great. I doubled the amount of expected revenue that our company was going to make that month. I doubled it for 2 months in a row, actually. And that was just a couple months ago, and I've been going up from there. But those two things, being able to step outside of your comfort zone, pushing yourself to your limits, and then getting to the breaking point, almost getting to the point where you can either naturally tell yourself, hey, I gotta let go, I gotta trust the process, or get to the breaking point where you're just like, I don't give a fuck, whatever happens, happens. Those two things like are powerful. Anyway, I hope this helps you. Good luck on your journey.